that's man, that's all bad. You in the Bay at the Giant Stadium, like you would want it to be, with the true Bay Stadium up there. But sad, man, sad.
Yeah.
Are they tearing it down, or are they keeping it? I think they are. Like they could they're trying to put like an XFL team up there or something like that.
In the Coliseum?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure, bro. I know.
They have a local team called the Ballers or something like that. I think they're like, it's sad, bro. It's just, to me it's sad. It's like, damn, it's not.
That's hella sad, bro. It's not just you.
No, I feel it, bro. Like going to the Coliseum was one of one, dog. Like I never saw them lose in the Coliseum. Every time I went, got my ass on BART from San Jose. Dude, they never lost. I was in the building for that Kansas City win they got when they had to score touchdown like 3 times in a row, bro. It was insane.
The Monday night game. That Monday night game.
Yeah,
man, it's one of the best nights of my life, man.
You know what's crazy is like we're gonna be the last of the generation that like knew the Raiders in Oakland and LA, and like what it's just like now like there's gonna be a whole different generation. Like, oh, what Las Vegas Raiders? Like, well, Oakland Raiders. Oh, that was back in the day. That's old school. Like, you know what I mean? There's gonna be a whole bunch of that
right with me, bro. That don't sit right with me,
man. As long as if they win, that's all they got to do. They win.
True.
That's how you kind of like can stand on your own. But that being said, don't forget to clock in, hit that like button, hit that comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, man. Here we go.
Great Pharaoh. The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
We back, man, for another edition of Around the Shield, man. And guess who's back, man? We got Mint Beats in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through, man.
Thank you for having me, y'all. What's good, nation?
Man, hey, man, we got a lot to talk about today, man. Telesco. Thank God for Telesco, man. Thank God for Telesco, because he gave us something to talk about today. And, we'll get into that conversation he had with 33rd Team Podcast. Shout out to them, where he was able to get into his thought process during the 2024 draft, his quarterback that he would have went with, and what went into picking Brock Bowers at pick number 13. We'll get into that conversation. Obviously, we'll go into some of the things that we're hearing at camp, some of the pressers. Hear what Mint Beats has to say about the offseason so far, all that, man. But man, we gotta salute everybody pulling up, man. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. Mike Lopez in the building starts it off right. He says Raiders. Hey, man, I really do truly believe, man, the Raiders do got like top 5 fan base, man. It's because you got to think about it from this perspective, like. The Raiders haven't been winning, and we still got the craziest fans, the most passionate fans. So imagine if you combine winning with this passionate fan base. Oh, it's going to go to a whole different level.
Crazy.
Whole different level. Man, shout out to Smoke, man. He says, what's up, fellas? Salute. I remember my uncle taking me to my first Raider game back in 99. We beat the Bucks 45-0. We'll never forget it. Had Sean King looking like he was seeing ghosts, man. That's clean, man. That's clean. That your first Raider game. That's wild. I didn't be honest with you. I didn't go to my first Raider game until like later on, man. Like you went as a kid, man. I went like later on, like probably when I was like, like grown. To be honest. I grew up watching it on TV and listening to Greg Papa. When it was blacked out, I had to listen to, exactly. Greg Papa and stuff like that, man. But shout out to him.
I used to have to listen to on the radio. Yeah, on the radio, bro. Oh,
see, that's some Bay Area shit right there. You hold up.
Not for real.
When you, out in LA, were games blacked out for y'all? You get to see every game.
They just when the Raiders was trash, they just want to be on TV. Like they got to waste their time. They got to waste their time putting us on CBS. Like what? Like you have to waste that. Like the only way I would follow it online or they still had a dedicated like Raiders. I think it was it 710 out here. I think it was, but yeah, they still like Raiders radio right here, so I could listen like that. But yeah, it was. That's all.
Who was on the 710 radio?
It'll be the same broadcast.
It was great. Oh, great. Okay. I was about to say what happens. It was like Greg Papa's cousin or something like that.
Exactly right.
some bootleg version of the Raider game.
Nah, man, it would still be Papa. Touchdown. Yeah, it'd be the same. That'd be hilarious though. It's like some straight LA dude like, yo, so man, right? Look here, bro. The Raiders is it's 1st and 10, and like, hey, look, like they dropping back. Could about to pass the ball.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious, bro. Yeah, it would be. You would have been a whole different type of Raider fan, man. A whole different type. Salute to Rick Rock in the building, man. He says salute 50-50 Show podcast, man. That's the 50-50 shows every Tuesday, but we appreciate you coming through. Today's Around the Shield, man. We got Mint Beats in the building, man. Man, appreciate you coming through. Daniel Kim, the king of mods, is in the building, man. My guy, man, appreciate you coming through. Raider Allegiance says, that was on my birthday. Oh, damn, that's crazy. Yeah. 12/19/99. That's wild, bro. That's not your birthday, bro. You said 99.
You mean like he remembers the game, but yeah.
I thought he was saying he was born.
He was born in the 90s.
I was like, come on, man. Why you playing with me like that, man?
Like, if that was his birthday, like, man, Loon, like, what condition do you have, and how can we help?
You got that Benjamin Button going on, bro.
Man, salute Kevin Lurker in the building, man. This is Evening Nation. Salute Pharaoh Severe. Man, appreciate you coming through. Mike Lopez says, do you think who went at number 6 is better than Bijan Robinson? Or you think Genty was better than Bijan, basically. Right now, it's kind of hard to say that he's going to be better, but I hope. I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic, but man, I think Jameer kind of gives you a little bit more explosive. You know, more. I think he's more. I think he's more explosive than Genty. Bijan might have been. I think Bijan might have been a better prospect coming out. I mean,
I think
that's what
Bijan
I'm gonna
was a better
say.
prospect.
Yeah.
I think Bijan is a better prospect. I think Genty is a better prospect than Jameer, but Jameer is like more. It's so like he has physical gifts you just can't teach. Like I didn't think he'd be able to be like a number one back, but like I think he was like what he's third in the league in rush or something like that last year. So third or fourth, something like that. I want to say he was top 5. So it's like dang.
Yeah,
they're all like uniquely different, right? Like I feel like Jameer is just really good at what he does. You know, he's just really good at like finding the lane, cutting up, and just like exploding on one cut.
Yes.
And then like Bijan's like do it all. You know, he reminds me of like Reggie Bush kind of coming out a little bit, but like bigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Salute to East Coast Gridiron in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through, my guy, man. Raider Knight in the building says Coupon Tom runs a football team like a lemonade stand. I mean, we'll get into it. We'll get into the conversation, man. But Severe is gonna have a lot to say for sure. I have a lot to say, but I think Severe gonna take it and he gonna run with it, man. I have a feeling. But hey, if you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We are going live on both our channels, so you want to make sure to support, man, and just hit that like button and subscribe, man, if you haven't already. Anthony Estrada in the building says, "Yo, what's going on? Salute my nation, fam. 10 minutes late, but clocking in. Hey, man, that's what we like to hear, man. Hey, see, Anthony, you know what to do, man. Appreciate you coming through, man." He says, "Wow, that fountain." He's talking about that fountain of youth. Oh man, hey man, it's all good, man. I don't know why I read it that way. I'm like, what the hell, like, but it's all good. It's all good. Hey, but you know, let's not waste any time. Dixon says, for every hit Telesco got, he missed. Ooh, damn. He's kind of going in right now, man. But let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and play a clip from the entire interview. I think it was like about 45 minutes or an hour, close to an hour, around that time. 30 to 45 minute interview that he had with 33rd Team podcast. I'm trying to remember the guys' names that were able to interview him, but y'all will recognize the voices.
Is it Tom Pelazzolo? Is that one of them?
Steve. Is it Steve?
Maybe.
Bro looks like a Steve for sure.
For sure.
Hey, Steve. You know, Steve is an old school name now. That's an old school name.
Okay.
Steve. Yeah. Steve and what's another old? I don't know. That's all different conversation. But Steve's old school name. You don't get a lot of Steves these days.
Not a lot of Steve anymore, nah.
And like Wilma,
Bobby.
Wilma. You're not gonna hear a lot of Wilmas. Like
that's not hello, yeah. Or Bobby feels like an old school name to me. Like you don't get like Bobby. You know, the kids name like Bobby.
Man, I'm trying to think of some old school names. Like
Deborah, you know, like you don't get a lot of Deborah.
Yeah, Deborah is an old school name, but these are names where you grew up. You heard, and it was like normal. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like, damn, you're not gonna see no young Deborah like coming through.
Nah.
You know? No, man. All right, let me go ahead and play. Go ahead and play this clip, man, and then we'll get the conversation going. I mean, he had a lot to say. It was an interview where they talked about his experience at GM, obviously with the Chargers and the Raiders, but we only care about what the Raiders. You know what I mean? Let's be honest here. But it was a good interview though. Let me pull this up here. And hey, man, just a friendly reminder, man. I got to keep doing this, man. Just make sure to clock in and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. But here we go.
The quarterback need, and then last year, 2024, one of the wildest drafts, especially at the top. You are the general manager of the Raiders, picking at 13 with a quarterback need, and then 6 quarterbacks go in the top 12. There were a lot. So let's ask about the rumors again. There were rumors that Michael Penix Jr. may have been the pick had he been there, but the Falcons make the pick at 8. So first off, would Michael Penix Jr. have been the pick had he been on the clock at pick 13 for the Raiders?
Did a lot of work, talked a lot about it. But in the end, probably not. Probably not. Now looking back, if I knew that I only had 1 year there, maybe that would have been different. I don't know. But
wait, would it have been a different quarterback? Would it have been J.J. McCarthy or Bo Nix? Was there a quarterback that you would have taken at 13?
So that's a little bit different. I get in there. Let me just big picture wise. We're building this for the future, and thinking I'm going to be there at least for a little while. The head coach will be there for a little while. Our infrastructure wasn't where it needed to be yet. So we had some concerns. We take a quarterback this early and we have nothing around him. It could be a disaster. So the thought was we need to build the talent level of this team on both sides of the ball. So because we had taught like Jaden Daniels, that one would have been easy, and that's an easy one. But then when we got into the J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, and Michael Penix, as far as trading up for those guys, that I was not as much into trying to trade up for one of those quarterbacks to give up that many assets, because we're going to have to give up a lot of draft picks. We need as many as possible to build up the team. So that would have been a hard decision, a hard move to make, to trade up for one of those quarterbacks, knowing where our talent level was then, and then how we're going to get it better, because we're going to give up so many picks for that. So to me, that was, other than Jaden Daniels, that was going to be a non-starter. Now, if they were there, again, with Michael Penix, and I've been wrong plenty of times, which I've been told. But he had some injury issues in college, just with some durability, and that's taking a quarterback that high, that has to be a concern. Hope at this point, he hasn't had an issue, but he hasn't played a lot yet. But everything's healed up, and hopefully it's good to go. But that was a bit of a concern. Bo Nix, a little bit, his background of work, his durability, his movement skills, that one was interesting. And he's gone to the perfect team. That would have been a good possibility.
Last year, 2000.
So yeah, man, you hear it there, and he implied basically that he would consider taking Bo Nix at 13. And if you listen to more of the interview, definitely go ahead and check it out. But he talked about how Bo Nix was a guy that he knew that the Atlanta Falcons liked him, but he thought Pennix, Michael Penix, but he thought that Michael Penix would have been a pick that Atlanta would have gotten the second. So he didn't even think, he read the whole situation like wrong, which obviously we all did. I mean, but he did not think Michael Penix was a first round quarterback at all. So he would have never took him in the first round
because of the injuries.
Because of the injuries. So he kind of like pushed him down a spot. But he did say he considered Bo Nix, and I think if it came down to Bo Nix or Michael Penix at 13, you can see where he would have been leaning towards Bo Nix. But I mean, this ain't 50-50 show. It ain't Tuesday, so that usually we'll call it flag on the play, man. But man, I'm not gonna lie. If it was Michael Penix was on the board and we went Bo Nix, and I know it's early right now. Bo Nix had a really good, solid rookie season.
Very solid.
But I think Penix, and that's the thing. Health is that's a good point that he made. He's talking about his health, but I think Penix could be the better quarterback overall. To be honest with you, but it's right now if you notice, a lot of his answers, now that I'm hearing it back again, it's all strategic. Because what have those players shown you so far? Bo Nix has shown you a lot more than what Penix has shown.
Yeah.
So, and he had a pretty solid rookie season. Then you think about, Brock Bowers. He's shown a lot in his rookie season, so he's not going to knock Brock Bowers. He's like, I gotta stand tough on that. You know what I mean? I gotta stand because that was my pick, and that was obviously a successful pick. Then you think about Michael Penix. You haven't seen him a lot, and then he says, if it was Jaden Daniels, of course we wouldn't because Jaden Daniels had a great rookie season. Of course he's going to say that.
I mean, he's also the best player, like second best player in the draft. At that time, if we're going into a time capsule, like he's like, I mean, obviously Severe had him number one, and like some folks, were taking that side too. We're like, it was like the minority. Obviously, everyone's going to try to have some revisionist history, but like, of course, you're going to take the best player in the draft, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like the person with the best at most success. Like and I know you're trying to get another job with your ass at the high school volunteering now, bro. Like, come on now. I know you're not going to say really crazy into that microphone, but like, it's interesting him saying obviously that he's leaning Bo Nix over Michael Penix. But I mean, at the end of the day, it shouldn't be a surprise to us. Like he's just from his previous drafts and even the way that he drafted when he was the Raiders GM, he's a safe guy. He's always going to go with the safe option. He's going to go with the bill of goods that he knows. He's seen the most work. There's no prior injuries or anything like that. So it's not a surprise to me that he leaned Bo Nix. Would I have been happy with that? Probably not. Especially if Michael Penix was on the board. I don't know, just for me, like it may be a little shallow, but seeing the head-to-head competitions between both of them and then both being shootouts as well. Michael Penix just showing that resilience and, obviously like skyrocketing that program. Like Oregon's been successful for damn near 15 years now, and him making an impact with that coach at that location, like it just meant a lot. And it's just, I think it's just revisionist history, him trying to like obviously show himself in a light that's beneficial to him, his future, etc.
Yeah, I mean, what was your take on it, Severe? Because I know. The thing is, Severe was on it before anybody else. I mean, he hit me up and he was like, "Did you hear about the Telesco interview?" Like, and I was
like 8:00 in the morning.
You was like first thing. You was. I mean, from my perspective, I mean, like, I'm like, nah, because I was running around and you were like, basically, he'll pick Penix over Bo Nix. What was my response?
Disgusting. Disgusting. I was just like, yo, man, and I think Bo Nix was trash.
Right.
I just think Bo Nix was like, Bo Nix, whatever, right? Like he's he's vanilla ice cream, right? I think if you get some toppings on it, you cool, but it's not a whole lot by itself, right? He has a high floor, but a low ceiling. I don't think Bo Nix is ever going to be like a top 10 quarterback in the league, right? He's going to hover. He's going to be Derek Carr level quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo ranking, right? Slightly behind Geno Smith level. Like, okay, he's going to hover in that 12 to 17 range for most of his career. And he's going to be, very solid. He's going to be very polarizing. So because some people are going to say, "Oh my God, Bo Nix is he's going. Oh man, look at this guy." And then some people are going to be like, "Man, but look what he has around him. He has a great offensive-minded coach. He has one of the better defenses in the league." So it's always going to be the discussion around Bo Nix for most of his career. Michael Penix has mega superstar potential, right? We saw him turn around 2 college programs. He turned around the Indiana program, and then he got hurt there. And then Indiana program ain't been any good until they just got the coach that they had right now. And then him and Kalen DeBoer, they go to Washington. Washington is a sad-ass program. I'm a Pac-10, Pac-12 guy. I follow that school. Just sadness for years until Michael Penix gets there, right? And then 2 years they're in a national championship game. So just his ceiling, his arm talent, his athleticism, his leadership, like off the Richter scale, all levels above Bo Nix, right? So it's just that if we had that option, now if Michael Penix wasn't there and we still felt we had to go quarterback and they went Bo Nix, would I have been like ecstatic about it? No, but I would have understood. But if they're both on the board and you decide to go with this guy because you feel he's safer or because you have relationships with the Oregon program and because you saw it work with Justin Herbert, so like, hey, you know what? let's just hit replay on this. Like nah, man, go with the better prospect. Obviously, Atlanta went with the better prospect, and had there not been like the injury concerns, Michael Penix is clearly a top 5 quarterback. He's top 2 in most other draft classes.
Yeah, and you know, I see people in the chat, man. Shout out to East Coast, Rick Rock. You know, but I'm not saying Bo Nix is a bad player or anything like that. Me personally, I'm just letting you know, like, if at that time, at that moment in time, if this was, you know, rewind, you know, go if you take it all the way back to you know, all the way back to 2024, you know, draft, and it was pick number 13, and let's say Bo Nix and Michael Penix on a board. I'm not gonna lie to you, I would be wanting Michael Penix at number 13. And if we would have went Bo at that time, I think would you say the majority of the Raider Nation, I mean the fan base, would have been pissed if it was Bo Nix instead of Penix?
No,
I mean, I would have been pissed, but I don't know if
only 805 would have been happy. 805 would have been over the moon. There's been the only person happy about it.
Yeah. But
I feel like the
Bo
folks
Nix,
I feel like the folks that don't like Derek Carr would not like Bo Nix. You know what I mean? Like, it's just there's a lot of similarities in them as prospects. I would say Bo Nix is a little bit more mobile, but like, it's just the ceiling. You know, you wonder about the ceiling. It's like, do we want to get into that purgatory of like it's always the guys around him? And I was a Derek Carr guy early on. Like, he went to the college that I grew up in my hometown. You know what I mean? Like, so I was talking trash about him when he was even there, though, to be honest. But like, it's just, you worry about the ceiling and you worry about the fit, and we'd be lying to ourselves if we said that we would be setting up Bo Nix to have the same season he had last year with the Raiders. I mean, just look at how terrible our offense like looked. I mean, folks mentioning in the comments here, I mean, our RB1 is a ghost. You know what I mean? Like, he just didn't produce at all the entire year. And I don't think that was all on our offensive line either. I mean, as the tail end of the season kind of showed, it just, obviously Devontae Adams is going to one out. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't seem like it would have been an environment for him to be successful early on. But like Michael Penix, I don't think he would have been successful as successful as we would have hoped he would have been either in the first year. But I feel like you just feel more comfortable with that upside. It's something that we haven't seen in a Raiders uniform in a long time. And I don't know. I would be disappointed for sure if we went with the safe option and kind of just repeated ourselves historically.
I think if we would have won, I think we would have won more games. We would have won more games.
Yeah.
Does that mean AP comes back? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if does that mean Telesco comes back? I'm not sure, because, you know, a lot of time has passed since then. And let me ask y'all this, and I don't want to stay too much on this topic, but like, I feel everything was already set in stone. Like, this was a plan. This was a planned out execution. Like, it was planned out. Like, no GM, and they brought it up in the interview too. GMs don't get second opportunities. And like, Telesco was all like laughing, like, yeah, you know, I'm 2-0, you know, when it comes to GM interviews, and and he admitted, like, a lot of owners, they like the fact that of new GMs, there's that potential, because they haven't had a missed draft pick. They haven't had a missed anything. They just have that clean slate. So a lot of owners and teams that run the team, like, you know, guys that run the team, they want to go with a guy that, you know, pretty much with a lot more potential. And a guy like Telesco, there were 10 years with the Chargers, 2 playoff appearances. You know, he has some good. He drafted some good guys, but, you know, overall, like, it was kind of a mixed bag. Yeah. But he was able to get a job with the Raiders. Why? Why did the Raiders pair him with AP? Why did they do that? Because they knew that, like, they knew he was going to take the job. If offered, like, he knew he was going to take the job, and it was going to be a 1-year deal. And AP, they looked at him as a 1-year deal too, as well. I think that everything was pre-planned, and I think that what it was once Brady got on, Brady was going to be the guy, like, leading the way, because I think when Mark Davis said in that interview, when he said that I need to get a football guy, a guy that can oversee a GM and coach, that was Tom Brady. And once Tom Brady was in the building officially, the rest is history. I mean, he look what happened after 1 year. All those guys left or got let go. Do you think it was pre-planned out? Like that was the plan? Like, hey, we're gonna once Mark gets his guy in the building, because you remember the committee? Who was part of that committee? Tom Brady wasn't on that
Richie
committee,
Seymour.
but Seymour was on that committee. A few other people, like obviously Mark and I think I forgot his other executive. She was on there, I think, as well. But,
Sandra Douglas.
Yeah, she was on there. But I'm just what I'm saying is that like if Mark Davis already in his mind knew that like, hey,
Your boy was there too, though. I think he was.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
back. Your boy Ken Herrock was there too.
Was he on the committee? Ah, damn,
Yeah.
bruh.
He's out there.
Man,
When I say disgusting, man,
he
his picture be right next to it, man. Like he was the one. Penn Henrock was the guy that recommended Josh McDaniels, and he didn't ask him about Denver. Like, what happened in Denver? Like, he didn't even.
Yeah.
He failed. Why wouldn't you ask that question? Like, he might have said something that would make you go, yeah, we're not gonna. We should go a different direction.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, what do y'all think about that? Do y'all think it was already pre-planned out that it was going to be a 1-year deal with Telesco and AP? Because Telesco in an interview, he said that, he thought he would have more time.
Yeah, I feel like I would be a fool to tell you my intentions in an interview. You know what I mean? As a person that's like a owner, it's like, okay, I owe 2 coaches like an incredible amount of money right now. I'm not going to tell you that like I'm not going to give you a long contract because I want you to be out because I have this dude that's going to be running the show next year. You know what I mean? So of course I'm going to tell you what I want you to hear for you to take the job.
Right.
But I think that like you mentioned, I feel like AP would have had to have like moderate success being like 8 and 9. You know what I mean? To come back or like really, really show like an improvement as a coach as well. And it would have been a really big task, to make that whole team successful, if we're being honest. You know what I mean? After Devontae left, it was just kind of like an aimless team, you know what I mean? From a leadership perspective too, because he's going through all that for the first time as well. But as far as Tom Telesco goes, like, he should have known his fate when they weren't giving out contracts. It seems like that were longer than 2 years. You know what I mean? Because wasn't that the thing that turned Kingsbury away from being our OC? You know what I mean? It's like that should tell you a lot. It's like you want to invest in the future, but also you're not making an investment in me immediately. So that should tell you everything you need to know. And I think I kind of agree with you, Pharaoh. I think that it was always going to be a setup to transition to this Tom Brady era where it's like I'm getting my guy John Spytek in that, or like these groups of GMs that I really trust, that are young, that have really good connections too. Because like we were talking about previously on the last talking point, we're talking about just like him not having a clue on what anyone's intentions were in the draft. John Spytek like was plugged in and knew what the teams around us are doing. You know what I mean? And he was out here maneuvering in a way where he wasn't giving out his hand. You know what I mean? And obviously not a lot of people knew that the Falcons were going to take a quarterback in the first round, but like also you got to like have some sort of plan. You know what I mean? And anyways, not to get too far off track, I just think that Mark Davis definitely kept his cards close to his chest, and he was always planning on transitioning in a year unless something magical happened with AP. But
yeah. Obviously, if something, like you said, something magical happened, like if they went to the, but look, we see it with New York. A recent flag on a play was New York firing their head coach Tom Thibodeau after they went the farthest they've ever been in the last 25 years. The Knicks.
Basketball's different though. Basketball's a little different.
Well, like, I'm just comparing it to this where they, in their mind, they knew that they wanted to get rid of him. Is what I'm trying to say. They knew that they wanted to get rid of him. unless they went to the finals or did something magical, right? For the Raiders, it was same thing. AP, he did something magical. Tom Telesco, same. And Tom Telesco, you can argue that he had a solid, he was able to get. Hey, he
had a
got
good draft.
He got a blue chip player in Brock Bowers. Like, hey,
Jackson Powers Johnson.
Jackson Powers Johnson, right there, bro. Like there. That's our starting center for
his
next.
First 3 picks are starters. First 3 picks are starters. I mean,
boom.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, solid draft. So you can. So it was kind of a low key, a little bit of a surprise that he wasn't brought back, just because like he had like some success. You know what I mean, as far as drafting. But now that you look at it from it's been some months now, you be like, man, damn, like. And you hear Tom Telesco talk about it, like he's like, I thought I would have more time, and then he talk about how I'm 2-0, and they even bring up the point where we knew it, but then for them to just bring it up, like a lot of GMs don't get hired after their first stop, like it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It just, you start thinking about it from that perspective, you're like, damn, like they paired him, and they knew that he was gonna accept it, like because he was surprised, like he said, like, hey, I was. Literally, I got fired like a couple weeks ago, and 2 weeks later, I'm at a Raiders presser. Like, I would have never thought that. Like, he was surprised.
Yeah.
So
I mean, because most GMs don't get that second job. But if that's your plan, if that's truly your plan, then don't hire Tom. Just hire Champ Kelly and save yourself some money. Why dude's like, look, I gotta play. Look. I don't plan on dating this girl long, but I'm gonna take her on this trip to Paris, right? And then afterwards, I'm never gonna call her. Like why, bro? Like you're not gonna. Why are you trying to impress her? Like just take her to In-N-Out. Like get her a double. Good. Like why are you doing all this?
Right,
so it's like that just don't make no sense. So if that was Mark Davis' plan, bro, like that was the stupidest plan ever. And look, the fact that Tom Telesco was going to take Bo Nix over Michael Penix, like that. I question his judgment. So maybe Mark Davis said, "Yeah, bro, you only got a 1-year deal." He's like, "Man, I got plenty of time." Like, "Nah, bro, you get this 1 year." He's like, "Yeah, man, 1 year after that too, right?" Like, "Nah, bro, I'm telling you, one." So like, you can't like I question his judgment. So you don't know. So but like if that was Mark Davis's thinking, where he's going, "Hey, I'm just gonna give it this one shot and then if it don't work, I'm out of here." But yeah. So like I said, it's that I would hope that was his plan. Just run it with AP and Champ, and they had seemed to have an okay run down the stretch, and they had some synergy and some chemistry. Let them do their thing.
Yeah, bro. The thing that I feel like we're realizing though is like, I mean, or at least we can all agree on is like, does Mark Davis strike you as a man that has a plan?
No.
Like, no. Like that's why we've been in this situation. It's always been like an immediate he's very reactionary, in like a unique way, right? It's not like I feel like it's not like Jerry Jones per se. Although like the meetings after games and stuff was kind of strange, and like obviously that stopped with John Gruden, but like it just seems like he formulated the plan halfway into the AP era. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, we got 3 or 4 games in. Okay, we lost to the Panthers. Oh, this may not look good. Okay, I may not have to like exit stage right real quick. You know what I mean? And devise that like there, because I agree with you. I mean, I didn't even think of that. I'm like, yeah, why didn't they just run it with Champ? Give Champ an opportunity too, but. They did say that they didn't want to pair him with a first-time GM because they wanted to set him up with success to give him a fair shot. But it's like, bro, you set him up with Coupon Tom, a dude that's going to sit on his hands, not get him a quarterback, not get him like the most important position to succeed. And like, and
Mark, and not to cut you off, and Mark doesn't want to get embarrassed. He doesn't want to get embarrassed. He doesn't want to like have the Raiders look bad. So he's going to go with a safer option. Like, all right, it's going to be a 1-year rental, but I don't want this to look like some disaster, weird, sideshow. So get Tom Telesco. He's been there. He's done it. I'm sure like people in his ear, like, the Ken Henrocks and the Seymours and that, whatever, that committee all talked it out. And like, you know what, let's just go ahead and go with a Tom Telesco. pair AP, see what happens. If it doesn't work out, by that time, and I agree. And just to go back to your point where you said that doesn't Mark seem reactionary? Of course, that's why like a lot of the issues with the Raiders, we can look at all the coaches that come and gone. We can look at all the GMs that come and gone. But what is the one constant is Mark, and we've seen him as the owner of this team for a pretty long period of times, for at least 10 years, right? At least over like a little over 10 years. Yeah. And we can see a track record here. Like, all right, this dude's there's no consistency. He's firing coaches after 1 year, GMs after 1 year. That's just you're not going to win. But I will say this. What he wants to hire someone and not even think about it. Like he doesn't want to like be forced to make a decision or think about a decision. And that's where Tom comes in. I think that's because even John, he gave John Gruden a 10-year contract because he trusts John so much, because from his days with, his first time around when he was a coach, and he has a lot of respect for him. They're good friends. And he gave him a 10-year contract where he was running the show. And I'm be honest with you, I think he would have literally coached that full 10 years.
100%.
And some say too that maybe John would have probably would have transitioned to ownership too. And that's a whole different conversation. There were rumors saying that possibly could happen. But Tom Brady gives Mark Davis that comfort level of like, oh, I can have you. I can just talk to you and ask you, and you could I can lean on you for advice. Yeah. Because it's Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback. You know so much about football. Of course, you're gonna pick the right players, and that.
I think Severe also mentioned that in the past too. Just like he's been trying to hand it off, it's just continued to blow up in his face, from like emails to like it being the wrong guy.
For
like,
sure.
And I just don't think he handles conflict and like adversity well, to be honest. Like, because he doesn't seem like he can make like a thoroughly thought out like I guess like evaluation of his organizations. You know what I mean? Like he seems like a good businessman, but is that him just having great like partners? You know what I mean? Like, does he have great advisors? It's like he's been looking for an advisor, like you're saying, this whole time. You know what I mean? And I'm hopeful too that it's Tom Brady, because I mean, obviously, like I'm really high on John Spytek. I feel like that was just like a home run hire. I'm higher on him than obviously Pete Carroll. I think that's a great way to transition into the John Spytek era. But I'm not also like, I know we're all kind of concerned about his age, obviously, and like what's going to be after this. But like, I am confident that John Spytek and Tom Brady will be able to formulate a plan on what type of coach they want. You know what I mean? And identify that, and then flesh out who qualifies and who's a part of, who matches the Raiders culture going forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And adding Tom to ownership kind of gives you an idea that there's going to be a level of consistency that we haven't seen with the Raiders in recent memory. Like, just because Tom is going to be there and he's going to like allow, you would hope, like you would think that like, all right, Tom's going to like, Mark is going to be like, oh my God, this dude, he's a fan of the team. He's an owner, but he's also a fan of the team. And like, that speaks to your point about reactionary. So Tom is supposed to be that guy where he's going to just like, hey, calm down, and he's going to kind of calm things down between he's the buffer between the GM and the coach.
Yeah. I mean, I think Mark is an exceptional businessman. Business is built on partnerships, right? So your ability to identify good partners, I think that weighs heavily into your success as a businessman. And we've seen like Mark transform the Raiders organization, just as an organization. Now as a football team, it's been mostly bad, but as an organization, we are rivaled for one of the top organizations in the NFL, just in terms of, financially, like we went from being worth, losing value at one point. I think in 2009, 2010, we lost value. How does the NFL team lose value, right? Like we lost value as the NFL team. Then, when he took over, we were valued at around 700 million. Now we're valued, according to Forbes, at like 6.7 or $7 billion. So he did that in 13 years, or 14 years. So like that's extremely impressive. We have the best stadium, and it was the second best stadium in the NFL, but behind the stadium out there in Dallas, from what I hear. We constantly get high marks for our staff and our facilities and for the food and for all of this stuff. So, on that side of things, he's doing a great job. Now, his ability to identify football people, that has left much to be desired. And that's why, as you guys both spoke to, he's been trying to find somebody that's a football person. Like, hey, you do it. Like, oh no, you messing up. Oh, you do it. Oh, you racist. Oh, damn. Well, hey, let me hire. Like he's trying to find some people, and he just can't find anybody to do it. And so that's why I think, finally he was like, you know what? Hey, Tom Brady, my dog. Like, I need you, brother. Come on over here. And I think that's been kind of the plan the entire time. And we talked about that interview he had in the owners meetings like 2 years ago, when he was saying like, yeah, you know what? And we talked about it on the 50-50, like probably one of the very first 50-50 shows about him saying, hey, I want to hire, if I had the order to do it, I'd want to hire like a football operations person first before we make these other decisions. And around that same time is when he was, basically trying to get the Tom Brady thing through, and the NFL was hemming and hawing because they were worried about the conflict of interest that had to go along with his contract, to do the game. So I think he's been trying to do this kind of plan. I think this plan is, and look, we don't give Mark enough credit. Mark was calculated, because this whole time he was trying to finesse this Tom Brady situation. First, he tried to slide him on the team, and then, John Gruden was like, "No, man, I want my dog over here, Derek Carr." So but still, that whole time, Mark was working on him. Like, yo, you about to be part of this organization, and that's when he tried to get him on the team. He even tried to sell him at a discount, and NFL was like, "No, we ain't doing that." So he had a plan in place. It's just now we starting to see it come to fruition. But the Tom Telesco thing, I don't necessarily know if that was part of the plan. I think that seemed very reactionary. And if you're trying to avoid embarrassment, you don't hire the guy that you guys demolish on on national television, who gets fired before he even leaves the building. Like, that's like, I don't want to be embarrassed. Let's hire this. Like, that doesn't strike me as the kind of decision you make right there. So I think,
it's like, bro, you made him available. Like,
exactly.
We're the team that made him available, bro.
Exactly. So,
Right.
I don't know.
That is true though, because Mark was trying to get that ownership deal done. If you think about it, that before AP even was announced the head coach, like, he was trying to get that done way before that. And if it was done way before that, then maybe we would never have seen an AP become head coach. We would have never seen Tom Telesco become GM, because Tom was in the building and he can officially be there to like oversee, and I'm sure that was Tom's maybe negotiating his bargaining chip. Like, hey, look, yeah, I can help you from afar as a friend, but if you really want my true expertise, you gonna have to sell this team to me. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. Like,
maybe. Look, and that's how you guarantee somebody's investment. Tell him, run me my money.
Nah, for real, man. But yeah, the Telesco interview was interesting. He got into like, who he wanted in that quarterback draft when the Chargers picked Justin Herbert. Was Tua the top quarterback on his board, which a lot of people were rumored to say, like, if Tua was on the board, they would have picked him instead, and this, that, and the third. But of course, Tom, thoughtfully answered the question and talked about, Tua's injury history and how, like, that was something that they really considered and really concerned about. And Anthony Lynn at the time really wanted a guy that can move around in the pocket and yada, yada, yada. And basically Herbert was his guy, but obviously he's going to say that, because that's like literally, come on, he's not going to say anything otherwise. I wouldn't think. But what else did he mention? He talked about a few things too. think we mentioned this earlier. I'm trying to think of the interview, but yeah, man, definitely check it out.
I mean, he talked about his time with Bill Polian.
Oh
He
yeah,
talked about how the philosophy on things, how like, you know what, they didn't care about height. They care more about like athleticism and like mass, I guess, you know. So that's why they didn't have apprehensions about drafting guys like Dwight Freeney, because or like, you know, what's Bob Sanders and stuff like that, because like height wasn't like their biggest concern. They were like, no, hey, I'm not worried about that, you know. So we're worried about other things. So he just talked about philosophy, talk about, you know, how Bill Polian, he necessarily didn't have, like, not to say but they had analytics before analytics. They call it like the numbers or something like that, and you know, that was their thing. Shout out to my guy, shout out to my guy Dub Raider in the chat. Shout out to my guy Dub Raider. Make sure y'all go over there. So, but yeah, man, it just, I still can't get over that over that. Still can't get over that Bo Nix thing, man. I still can't get over the Bo Nix. That's wild, man.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
wild.
No, it's crazy, but one thing I will say though, like for a guy that's been in the business for a long time and been in front of the media answering questions, like he's not really I don't know, say he's not confident, but it's just a little bit of like he's scared. Like there's a little bit like a fear, like of he might say the wrong thing. Like I don't know. That's the one thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way with Telesco. It's like, hey, is this guy? I mean, not that, I'm not gonna question. He probably knows a lot, way more football than myself. But I'm just being honest. Like the way he conducts himself in interviews and stuff like that. He's just not the most. He's not the strongest presence. I don't know. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
He's got zero aura for sure.
I'm
Man,
just saying,
negative
man.
aura, man.
I'm just saying, like, even like when he you know, even when they asked him like, oh, what are you doing these days? And he was talking about football is a big part of his life and yada yada yada. And now that he thinks about it, it's been like over 30 years in football, dating from his day from high school to all the way now. And then, I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and volunteer for the high school. And the way he said it, it was just so sad and depressing. I was like, come on, bro. Just say it better than that, man. Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest, man. Say it with your chest.
It was crazy. It was crazy, man. But one thing that was kind of interesting is that he did talk about how early on in the process, he wasn't really looking at Brock Bowers, just because, like, first of all, like, hey, we don't need a tight end, and like tight end isn't a premium position. So in terms of like financially, it doesn't make a lot of sense for you to draft tight end in the first round. But eventually Brock was just such a good prospect that he was like, you know what, like I kind of got to make that move. He's like, look, even if we got to announce him as a wide receiver, like if that's what we got to do to make it make sense, then that's what we'll do. But that's why he eventually landed on Brock Bowers. He said they ran through scenarios where they had Brock Bowers falling to them, so that they were prepared.
Yeah, he said he used a PFF simulator too, but them dudes was quiet when he said it because they don't work for
trash. That's trash. That's trash. That simulator.
Nah, but Telesco, I'll say this. This is the second year in a row where regime comes in, looks at the Raiders roster and was like, yeah, we just need to get good players.
That's
like we can't even talk about value. We can't even talk about premium positions because we just need help everywhere. Look, we picked a tight end at number 13, which he said, even Telesco admitted, it was like, yeah, that's kind of higher than what I would want to take a tight end, especially because where we're at and the needs that we have. But we need playmakers. We need good players. There goes Brock Bowers. And guess what? 1 year later, Spike Tech comes in. We pick a running back at number 6. So that should tell you what these guys think about the roster. Is like, damn, we need help. So we shouldn't be complaining about like, oh, we should took a offensive line. It's way more. premium position, or we should have took this guy instead. But they were like, nah, we need to get the best player available because that's where we're at.
Fact.
Right now.
Like, yeah, because that's another thing he said about like drafting the quarterback. He was like, no, essentially, he didn't think that the team had the infrastructure in place to support a young quarterback's development. So that's part of the reason why they weren't going to trade up for one, and like they were kind of apprehensive about drafting one early, which is why which takes me back to like that's why I prefer a guy like Penix over Bo Nix, because like Penix had hella weapons at Washington, to be truthful, but at Indiana, like he probably didn't have. I don't think there is a single player from that Indiana team that's playing in the league right now. Like his top receivers were Whop Phillier and Ty Freifogel. Like that sounds like they go to Hogwarts. Like bro, they don't sound like 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 so like and he had that team cooking. So like I just don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I mean I hope Tom has fun, inflating footballs and passing out Gatorade at the local high school, man.
Nah, man.
Would you all say that like our team, or at least on offense, would you say that we're now set up to create a successful environment for a rookie quarterback after this draft?
I think we have. I think we do have some weapons. I would say we don't have a number one receiver. Yeah. That if we're being honest, but I feel like if a young QB came to this offense, I feel like a creative offensive coordinator would be able to make it work. Especially if you look at what we have. If Gentile is who we think he is, there goes our run game right there. We should be leaning on a run game. Obviously Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, a creative offensive coordinator can make it work. Then you got that and that's what we're hoping Chip Kelly is. So to answer your question, I think so. I think we just have enough, but I do think we need a receiver though on the outside.
Yeah. Go ahead, Severe.
No. I was going to agree with you. I was going to say, man, imagine how we drafted Teteroa and then Trevion in round 2. I mean, imagine where we'd be. So, I'm just saying. I'm just talking.
Yeah. I mean, I agree too. I think that like obviously getting Teteroa would be nice, but like I just think that like a lot of these draft picks were very like, what's the person? You know what I mean? And I feel like what really messed up like that, him being on that board, or at least that high on our board, was that video of him being like, yeah, I don't like watching film. It's like, that's some type shit you don't say into a camera at all, bro. Like, and it's kind of boof that whoever was filming that also shared that. But like, like that's just not something that you think of Tom Brady, like as an owner, John Spytek, like Pete Carroll, that's not someone that they're going to draft. You know what I mean? Like everyone loves football. And I feel like that's what's so unique about this is like, if you put a young quarterback in this situation, you have guys like that are just safety blankets. I see a lot of safety blankets. We don't have that explosive one like y'all are. Like, I agree. We need that still. But that's something we can get next year, as early as next year. Or maybe someone on our team actually flashes, steps up, and becomes that. But, I'm excited because I feel like I see more pieces. You know what I mean? Like, there's less, obviously, like, if everything works out, you know what I mean? If everything works out, obviously, that's the operative word, right? If everything works out. But I see a lot less holes and a lot more like growth potential in all these young guys that we brought in, and competency when how we're team building for once. And I don't know, like I feel like just the way that they went about this draft, imagine if we do the same thing next year. You know what I mean? We could flip around this thing real quick.
Man, do you think they draft a QB next year?
I think
we've been saying it the last 3 off seasons, but last 2.
If they like one, if they like, that's what I love about this situation is like, if we like one, we could take one, but like, we don't have to. We can get a number 1 wide receiver, or we can get another defensive end. We can get, a true number one cornerback. We can get, if we're trying to shop a Miller, we can get an offensive tackle. Like, there's a lot of flexibility, but that's something that we are not used to as a franchise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like we hope that like Geno Smith doesn't just like crash and burn as a Raider. You know what I mean? Like, which we've seen a lot of veteran quarterbacks do. Like I feel like I'm a cynical guy, bro. Like early on, I was like, I'm really high on Geno, and like as like I can you to think about it, I'm like, man, I gotta stop getting my hopes up, bro. Like I gotta see it first. But I mean, Geno is definitely the most competent quarterback we've had since Derek Carr. His upside is probably higher than that. I mean, there's a reason he's playing still at a high level at 34. You know what I mean? Let me
rephrase it. Let me real quick, so because everybody watching, what I mean is not that we draft the QB. I mean like we draft the QB early, like first round or second round at the latest. Because if Geno plays solid, does Spy Tech or Pete Carroll have the balls to like be like, oh man, like we gotta grab so and so from South Carolina, or we gotta grab this guy from this school in the first round or in this second round.
Sellers, Lenora Sellers.
I'm just saying, and this is with Geno playing solid. I'm not saying like if he plays spectacular, like I don't think they're gonna do that. But I'm just saying like if he plays pretty well, pretty solid, like they go 8-9. Obviously the offense looks like it has a lot of potential and yada yada. The rest is history. But I'm just saying the first and second round. Do you see that happening?
If Geno plays well enough, right, and we have moderate success, we're going to be picking in the 20s, right? We're going to be picking like, that's probably roughly where we are, like right on the borderline of the playoffs, maybe not make it, but like close. If someone's there and they like it, or like maybe there's someone that's like 4 or 5 picks, early, like they're available at 15, 16, I could see them moving up a couple spots, but like I don't think they're going to trade 2 first-round picks to go up in the top 10 to get a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, I just think they're smarter than that. I could see them bargain shopping a little bit. It's like, oh, we really like this guy that's projected for a second round. You know what I mean? Like, maybe early second round. We only have to give up a third, you know what I mean? Our third and our second to get there. I could see them doing something like that, but I don't think they're going to be selling the farm anytime soon because there's just so much more holes on this team like that we can address. Like, we can get Max Crosby more help. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that Malcolm Kuntz panned out. What's that?
Yeah, because Kuntz after this year, is a very good chance he's gone.
Yeah, and like that's if he plays well too. Like we don't know, bro. Like I know ACL surgeries are much better nowadays, and like he was training up, but we got like 6 games of him playing well. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, man. Like there's still a lot of room to be pessimistic, and I'm trying not to be.
Right.
But like I feel like that's again why I feel confident in this team being built by John Spytek. I feel like he's just approaching it in a way that's holistic, not just like, no, we need to address this now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And going back to Kuntz, like, don't they say like it takes like a year or two, like 2 years until you get like fully 100% back? And that's what made, like, for example, like this is at the time, this is what they were saying when Adrian Peterson was able to literally tear his ACL, come back the following season and get 2,000 yards. I thought, like, what the heck? This dude's like a monster. Like, what
unicorn, bro?
Best running back I've ever seen. Him and LaDainian Tomlinson. But that being said, like going to Kuntz, that's a big question mark too. Is like, damn, is he gonna be effective on the other side? And like even let's say he's somewhat productive, but you could tell like he's still trying to get back to it. Do the Raiders still continue to bring him back? You know what I mean? Like, I think after it just seems like every scenario that you think of is like, yeah, he's probably not coming back. But Spytek did say that if he's gonna pay a position, he's gonna pay pass rusher.
So, and it seems like he wants to stay too. Like Malcolm Kuntz has said out loud, like the reason that he wanted to re-sign with us is because he likes the culture. Obviously, he probably loves working with Max Crosby. They have this kinship to them. Patrick Graham is probably a great person to be leading your defense. Along with the defensive line coach, I forget his name, but
Robbie
it seems
Leonard.
like Robbie Leonard. Like there's just a synergy there with the D line group. But it's like, bro, like it's hard to imagine him like what do we expect him to have? Do we expect him to have 10 sacks this year? You know what I mean? Like I don't know if that's realistic. If I'm being honest, like that's an insane like spike. You know what I mean? Like he had 3 sacks in a game against Kansas City.
Chiefs.
We were riding the go ahead, yeah, and we were riding the highs of like the AP transition. It's like, is this sustainable? He did have limited success when he was playing, because he played during the John Gruden era for a little bit. Then he played a little bit for Josh McDaniels era for a little bit. It was like spots, right? But like we haven't seen continued success of him, so he's still very unproven. So like I could see us definitely identifying defensive end next year in the draft, regardless of what happens, because like that's a Philadelphia Eagles, mindset, and like that's like kind of the cloth that John Spytek's been cut from. It's like you got to continue to pour into the trenches regardless. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
Especially when you draft a bust at 7 overall. That really could, because you kind of got to keep. But I think. I think Coons plays well, man. I think he's the kind of guy. If you listen to, he's a dude that's, you can tell he's very serious about his work, and 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 fortunate for him, right? We talk about it takes about a year for you to fully recover. He tore it about a year ago, so it's not like this like around this time
like
last
2 years.
Well, he missed that. No, he tore it before this last season. So you
Yeah,
said
it was the third preseason
before
game, right? He tore it before the third preseason game. I think that's what it was. It wasn't. He played it
before. I think it was before even. I thought it was before training camp. They were talking about like him running out and him like that's when it tore. That's what I remember them saying.
It was during the preseason, bro. Like it was like right before the season started. I'm pretty sure, because like it was we were all like, because we thought, okay, we're gonna have Malcolm Koonce, because they were looking really good in preseason. I'm pretty sure he was still there. At least it had to be before Game 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. I thought it was earlier than that, because I can't remember when, because him and Trey Taylor both Twitter stuff. So I don't remember if it was him first or Trey Taylor, but I remember they both snapped some stuff up in their knees or whatever. So we have both of them. I couldn't remember which order it was, but I think he's had enough time to recover. And he's going to be like a fully 100% back. I think what people, when they talk about that thing, is it physically? Yes, but I think a lot of times it's the mental aspect of it. Like, man, I was doing this last time, but him, he got hurt. I think it was like a freak injury. Like he was like running outside, it's like something crazy happened. Like it wasn't even in the drill. It was like them like running.
Those are the worst types of injuries too.
Those are the worst. Yeah, those are the worst. So it's something just crazy. So it's not like. So that mental, I don't think that mental aspect is going to be quite as bad. It's not like, oh, last time I was performing this move, or we were doing this and the guy rolled up on me and I snapped my knee up. Now I'm kind of worried about it. It's different for him. So I think enough time has elapsed, and I think he's gonna get hella opportunities, because we not about to put Tyree out there. We not about to put Tyree out there, bro. On that, look, know how I know we not putting Tyree. Look, know how I know Tyree ain't no good. This is how I know Tyree ain't no good, right? This is how I know. This is how I know Tyree ain't no good. What position does Max Crosby play? Defensive end,
left
right?
end. Yeah.
Yeah, plays defensive. He plays defensive end, right? And he's had the Rush podcast, like 3 years? 3 years, right? 3 years?
Somewhere on there.
We just drafted JPJ last year. We just signed a Landon Roberts this year. Both of those people have been on the pod before Tyree Wilson has been on there. You mean tell me, like, I don't think Max has any kind of respect or rapport with this dude at all. And you hear the stuff he says. He's like, "Oh man, I love football players that have a high motor," and like it's like, bro, he's literally naming things that are like the opposite of Tyree. Only thing that was missing was like, yeah, and short and white. If you would have just said short and white, I'm like, bro, he hates Tyree. He just hates Tyree Wilson at that point. So like, I don't think he has any kind of respect for Tyree Wilson at all, man. And just when he talks about Malcolm Kuntz, he just gushes like, "Oh man, this dude is about to be a superstar. He's like, man, my running mate. I think he's going to be one of the better players in the league." Even when he talks about Adam Butler, "Oh man, this dude is a monster, super underrated." All this stuff, and then like you never hear him say anything like that about Tyrese. "Oh yeah, man, I think Tyree's gonna figure it." He's like stuff like that. "I think Tyree's gonna figure it out. He's working hard," like stuff like that. But you never hear him like just really like heap like praise on him. Like even when he was talking about Landon Roberts recently, he's like, "Oh man, this dude's a dog. He's a beast." And all this stuff. Even talking about Nate Hobbs the same way. Like always, like it's just effusive praise, and it don't hit the same when you're talking about Tyree. It does not hit the same.
Yeah. It feels like corporate talking points every time he talks about Tyree. It's like you go back to like the script. It's like, okay, what should I say in this moment as a leader to not throw this man under the bus? But like, I really don't mess with him like that at all. Like it's crazy. Like you're right. Yeah.
Like know what it's like? Like everybody's seen this clip when it's like you seen Obama when he's like shaking everybody's hand. He's like, "Man, the bro hug." It's like that is. Then he gets the white dude. Is like. It's like that's Max talking about Tyree. It's like the straight handshake. Like,
to be fair though,
put it there, buddy. Put it there.
To be fair though, not everybody's built for podcasts. Not everybody has that ability to articulate themselves and be on a podcast for 45 minutes, an hour, and keep the conversation going and for people to understand you or have the confidence or whatever the case may be. Because have you heard? I mean, I've heard Tyree talk a few times. I don't think I could imagine him be on an hour and a half long podcast and like talk. Can you picture that?
I would concede that argument to you if he didn't have to like chase down Nate Hobbs. Remember, Nate Hobbs is not like a talkative dude either. And remember, Nate Hobbs didn't want to do it. He's like, "Man, I'm not going to do it. I'm nervous." He was scared. He like made Nate Hobbs do it. So you make Nate Hobbs do it, and you don't even ask Tyree at all?
Tyree's goofy, man. Though. Come on, Tyree's goofy. Come on,
man.
It's like you know what, man. All right, you want to get into this conversation? Man. You want to get into this? Or you want to get into this? It's like all right, Frank Gore. I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard Frank Gore talk, I was like, "Damn, bro!" Like I didn't even understand some of the things he was.
Or Emmett probably the worst. People was cooking Emmett.
It was Boomhauer. You know, Boomhauer. What's the dude? They don't. No, you know, but you know who's the real Boomhauer is the receiver from the Panthers.
Xavier. Yeah, man, my dog.
He be like, "Oh man,
hey man, I'm out here, man. We out here practicing, man. I don't know what, man. Tore that boy, man. I was like, what is this dude saying? Like, oh, it's crazy. I got this grill me right here, man. I just cooked it mess up, man. That's good meal, man. This stuff you be taking me back at the house, man. That stuff we be eating back home, man. I'm like, dog, like what?
Hey, but I feel like he got that country aura still. Like he could still whistle. He's at least saying that shit full chested. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's confident.
He's like, and it's still smooth too with it. It's like, hey, that's just me.
And he's hella confident. He's hella confident. Tyree, like at least when he's talking to the media, it's hella like, especially his rookie season. But I can't judge him off them. But like, it got better. I think it got better. Like during his second year, which is going to get better as he gets, matures and stuff like that. But I'm like, some people not built to be talking a whole lot.
Tyree talk like he always trying to hold back a laugh. Like he sees something like he thinking of something funny while he's supposed to be like just
surprised. He's just surprised. Yeah.
No, bro, it's crazy. like as a professional though, it's like, bro, like you want to make money off the field, like you should do media training, bro. Like you could afford it. Like that's because I mean, even like hometown gigs, bro. Like you can be talking at a dealership at the very least, get yourself a free car, bro. Like easily money on the table, bro. Like you gotta learn how to talk a little bit, man. Like I don't know. But yeah, I did look up Malcolm Kuntz's injury. It was literally the final practice before the season opener.
Oh, okay. Dang, that's wild.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. It's insane.
But yeah, but real quick, man. Hey, man, salute to my guy Raider Smoke with the super chat. He says like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff, man. We appreciate you coming through and letting the people know, man. Yeah, just hit that like button. We're going live on both our channels, so if you haven't already hit that like button, and obviously it's your first time watching, definitely subscribe to both channels. But yeah, man, then we went on a tangent. We went crazy, but a good convo. Let's get into like camp, like what we've been hearing. I mean, Mint, like, have you been paying attention, following along what's going on with the Raiders and these recent camps they've been having?
Yeah, man, it seems like a lot of kind of like I talked about last time I was here. It was just like there's a lot of just learning